At some point in every alcoholic's career, they're bound to have a night out where they just get way too fucking drunk. It honestly just gets to a point where throwing up and blacking out drunk are just achievements that only true alcoholics have unlocked. But I'm not gonna lie, it takes some true bravery, courage, and fucking dumbassery to get so drunk you literally get sent to the hospital. Yeah. Bro, why you looking at me? Okay, for real though, I might be a dumbass, but you gotta understand that there are levels to this shit. And I at the very least am not getting my ass sent to the fucking hospital, but I did watch this happen firsthand to one of my boys at college. So with that being said, this story takes place on December 19th, 2025, a day our alcoholic asses had dubbed Shotsmas. So this story consists of me, my roommate, one of my roommate's friends from high school who came down to visit, and two of our other friends from college. But the only person you're gonna need to remember is this guy right here, Mario. Now the thing about Mario is that before coming to college, he really didn't drink like that. In fact, he said he had never touched a single drop of alcohol before coming to college. And even though we were quick to convert him to the art of liver failure, his tolerance was still low as fuck, and it was to the point where he had thrown up multiple nights before. So because of all that, I told myself that tonight, I was gonna monitor him to make sure that he didn't have a similar experience, just trying to be a good homeboy. But yeah, no, the five of us, we all posted up in my fucking dorm, and soon enough, we broke out that Smirnoff and we started abusing that shit. And for whatever reason, on that particular night, we were treating that shit like a competition to see who could down the most amount of shots before we ran out of alcohol. Like, we literally had a tally sheet of how many shots everyone had taken, which is, side note, a fucking horrible idea. But because of this, Mario was low-key trying to keep up. So when I noticed that he was already decently fucked up, I went up and asked him, yo, how many shots you taking, man? Yeah, I'm on 6 right now. I think I'm only gonna take one more. Now keep in mind, 6 shots was his limit. So I told him to wait at least 10 minutes for that 6th shot to kick in. And if he really felt like it, then he could take one more. But you gotta keep in mind, this dude was already drunk as fuck. So that advice went right over his head, and he ended up taking that 7th shot almost immediately. And then he took his 8th shot. And then his 9th shot, which included finishing off the Smirnoff from the fucking handle. So now this dude was fucking 9 shots deep. And if you're wondering, hey, didn't you say you were gonna monitor him? And that's true, I did say that. But you gotta keep in mind, I was already drunk as fuck. But now that we were all sufficiently inebriated, we quickly headed out of the dorm and we proceeded to stumble and fuck around all the way down the hallway until we got to the bus that was gonna take us to the other side of the campus where all the frats were. But literally as soon as we hopped on this bus, Mario immediately started yakking. And considering that the pregame was literally less than 10 minutes ago, this was not a good sign. So after the ride to the other side of campus, we hopped off the bus and Mario made it a solid 3 feet before immediately collapsing into the fucking sidewalk. And while I was trying to make sure this kid didn't fucking die, the other college homeboys started yakking in a bush and ended up taking the same bus right back to the dorms. So now we were down to 4. And since the other 2 boys were watching over Mario, I decided to take a quick stop at the student center to take a piss. But after my 5-minute detour of going to the bathroom, I started to walk back to the boys. But when I looked over at them, I saw a group of cops fucking surrounding them. And at this point, I could have easily stayed my distance and not risk getting arrested for underage drinking. But I knew in my heart that if the boys went down, I had to go down with them. So I immediately walked my ass right over and became guilty by association. And as soon as I tried chatting up these fucking cops, I found out that these motherfuckers had already called an ambulance for Mario. Cause turns out while I was going to the bathroom, these cops had seen Mario's drunk ass on the fucking ground. So they headed over and began to question him to see if he was drinking. Okay, buddy, so we're just gonna ask you a couple questions to make sure you're not drinking. Starting off, what's your name? Mario. Okay, what day is it today? December 19th. Okay, not bad. All right, one last question. Where are you right now? Next to the dorms. Bro, I swear to God, this motherfucker didn't know where he was. Bro already forgot about the entire fucking bus ride we took to get to this side of the campus. And after he said that shit, I'm not gonna lie, it was straight fucking raps. And not only was he about to get sent to the hospital, but we were all about to get arrested for underage drinking. Or at least that's what I thought. Cause while these cops could have easily just fucked us over and arrested our asses, they were surprisingly chill. Like when my roommate told this cop that Mario had 9 shots of Smirnoff, this dude straight up said, "Oh, Smirnoff? Yeah, I'm more of a Cutwaters guy myself." Which is fucking bull. And as soon as he said that shit, this went from the worst night of our lives to the funniest shit ever. Except for Mario, that kid was definitely still fucking suffering. And his night was only gonna get fucking worse, made by the fact that as the ambulance was arriving, we started filming his drunk ass. Now obviously I can't show you the full videos that we took, but here's a screenshot of him climbing his drunk ass into the stretcher. And after legit a full minute of this dude being too drunk to figure out how to lay down, the ambulance did end up taking him away. And since the cops said we were too drunk to go to the hospital with him, we were now down to 3. And since this night was already beyond fucking cooked, we just decided to cut our losses and head back to the dorms. And that would have been the end of the story until fucking 5 in the morning when this kid Mario just showed up at our dorm. Because turns out after they flushed the alcohol out of his system in the hospital, he was just good to go. And when we asked him what he remembered of the night, his answer was literally none of it. And true alcoholics know that when you black out, you gain the ability to teleport. And this kid Mario had teleported from our dorm straight to the fucking hospital. And as a side note, imagine drinking so much that you wake up in the fucking hospital. Like, I feel like part of me would be terrified, but the other part of me would know that's how I knew I had a fucking fire night. But yeah, fast forward to today, and I'm not gonna lie, this experience fucking traumatized Mario. He literally couldn't drink out of a solo cup for like 2 months. He would literally gag every time he tried to drink out of a fucking cup. I swear to fucking God. But look, in all seriousness though, moral of the story, know your drinking limits.